LCJ Live. We are here. It's Sunday, March 5th, 2023. 1 week away from the Academy Awards. Yesterday, the Spirit Awards. We're almost to the end of award season, finally. And I'm going to give you some thoughts on the Spirit Awards, few early Oscars thoughts coming up here on LCJ Live. But we got to talk box office. $58.7 million for Creed 3. That is huge. That starts Mega Movie March. And really, when you look at this month coming up here, Creed 3, Scream this weekend, Shazam in 2 weekends, John Wick Chapter 4 coming up, and Dungeons and Dragons. And then just a few days after that, starting off April, Super Mario Brothers movie. This is a really big time for motion pictures in the theaters. I really think 2023 is the year when the return to movie theaters, we're already seeing it. Ant-Man as well, Megan even, this, Cocaine Bear. The return to theaters and the confidence in people going back to the movies will exceed some of the impact levels of streaming services. Not everything. I think there's a healthy balance and a healthy ecosystem with enough big movies and some smaller movies to play in the theaters and the same kind of impact you can feel in a similar way at home. But I think this is the year. We've been having this emphasis on streaming for 3 years, certainly 2020, more so in 2021, even with the theaters starting to open back up. The meter swayed a little bit more towards theaters thanks to Top Gun, Spider-Man, few others last year. Obviously, Spider-Man the end of 21 into 22. But this year, I really think the impact of theaters is going to outperform streaming. Look at these Creed 3 numbers. 58.7, 17 million on Friday alone, 5 million on Thursday. Big numbers. I mean, the first Creed did 110 total. The second Creed did 115 million total. We're more than halfway there basically now, already after 3.5 days, with Creed 3. Did nearly 10 million of that just in IMAX. I saw it in the RPX on Wednesday night. Didn't love the movie, but if you really wanted to see this and you wanted to see the punches and the boxing matches on the biggest screen possible and with the sound and with the impact of all of that, you were going to pay the extra money and go see it in the RPX or the IMAX or the BTX, whatever you saw it this weekend, if you have seen it already. You were willing to pay the extra money. And if you give people big movies, anticipated movies, they don't even all have to be sequels. But in this case, for these first 4 weeks, and then Dungeons and Dragons, a beloved brand, Super Mario Brothers, a beloved brand, you're giving titles that people have real interest in. And then this summer is packed with them, from Guardians to Indiana Jones and some originals, including Pixar's Elemental. So it is going to be a big time now through, I think, the whole year for theaters. Sam Russell, is Creed 3 the best Creed film? No! Creed 1, the first Creed, is still the best Creed film. If I had to rank them, maybe I like this Creed 3 a little more than Creed 2. I just thought Creed 2 was such a copycat of the first Creed, with the exception of the Milo Ventimiglia cameo at the end, and maybe, it's a decent ending for Rocky Balboa, the character, in a sense, because he's not in Creed 3. Stallone did not want to be involved. Maybe Creed 3 is slightly better than Creed 2, but I have a lot of problems with Creed 3. Besides the fights being outrageous, it's just a very straightforward, simple story. It's spelled out for you completely. There are no surprises. Jonathan Majors, is he going to be a big star? I mean, look at the year he's having already. Ant-Man, this film called Magazine Dreams, Searchlight has picked up. It was at Sundance. He's probably going to be a Best Actor Oscar nominee this time next year. When we talk about next year's Academy Awards and later this year's movies, he's probably going to be nominated. Let's just say it right now. I'll also make a couple other predictions, or at least one. I had 2 other predictions I wanted to make. I can't remember the second one, but I'll make the first one. So I watched this movie, Emily, last night. It's very good. It's about Emily Bronte, who wrote Wuthering Heights. Emma Mackey's great. Emma Mackey won the Rising Star BAFTA just a couple weeks ago. It's a very good performance. If you have not seen Emily, which is being released by Bleecker Street, it's still playing in some theaters. Go see it. Emma Mackey, as many people on social media know, looks an awful lot like Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie, of course, is playing Barbie. Emma Mackey is in the Barbie movie. They have not disclosed who her character is. Come on, she's playing Skipper. Can we all just say it right now that Emma Mackey is playing Skipper in the Barbie movie? I'm putting it out there right now. That's got to be the case. I don't know why they keep making it a secret. Warner Brothers should just say it. Emma Mackey is playing Skipper. She looks so much like Margot Robbie, younger sister. Totally makes sense. She's about 5 years younger in real life. Totally makes sense. Emma Mackey's got to be playing Skipper in Barbie's younger sister. Gotta be. Let's go to the number 2 movie, which is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, the other Jonathan Majors movie that's in theaters right now. $12.5 million. It's at $186.8. Look, Ant-Man's doing okay. Here's the problem. The last Ant-Man movie did about $30 million more than this, and I don't know if Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania can make another $30 million. So Disney has to be a little concerned right now that this is barely going to cross 200 and not maybe get to the 217 that the last Ant-Man movie did. They got to be concerned. But again, people came out in force weekend number 1, made $105.5 million, 120 million-ish over the long President's Day weekend. People wanted to go see this movie badly. Creed 3, maybe it has a huge drop this weekend coming up, because you've got Scream and 65 and some other movies coming out. Maybe 58.7, it goes down to 20. But no matter what, people want to go to the movies to see these films, and they want to go right away. Your number 3 movie is Cocaine Bear. With $11 million, dropped about 50%. It's at $41.2. Has already passed Knock at the Cabin. Universal had a 5-film run with M. Night Shyamalan. He's now going to Warner Brothers. Knock at the Cabin has only made about, $35 million total? Cocaine Bear, also rated R, has now already made more money by a lot than Knock at the Cabin. I still have not seen Knock at the Cabin. I still have not seen Cocaine Bear. I will catch up on them soon. Next movie is Demon Slayer: To the Swordsmith Village. $10.1 million. New anime film. This Demon Slayer franchise has always done well. And $10.1 million. Great. Good. The biggest animated movie of the year already. It has outgrossed Amazing Maurice and a couple others that have been released in just a handful of theaters. Already the biggest animated movie of 2023. Of course, Super Mario Brothers, when it comes out finally on April 5, will take over. Your number 5 movie is Jesus Revolution, which dropped about a little less than 50%, but still doing well. $8.7 million. It's at 30.5. I could see this making a run at 50. It may not get there. It may get to about 45. I think it's got to get past 40 million. Jesus Revolution. But it also could continue to play well through Easter. It could get re-released over Easter weekend. We will see. Maybe it gets past 50 million. But Lionsgate has to be happy about that compared to another movie Lionsgate had. We'll get to that in a second. Avatar added 3.6 million. It's at 670.6. One more weekend, this weekend coming up, Friday, Saturday, before the Academy Awards, where it has to win visual effects, and it may win a couple other categories as well. So Lionsgate, happy about Jesus Revolution. Not so happy about Operation Fortune. Ruse de Guerre. 3.2 million. It's a bad movie. I've seen worse, but the thing is, for Guy Ritchie, all these movies are starting to seem the same to me. They're all Man from U.N.C.L.E., Wrath of Man, Gentleman, this. So generic. The attempts at humor fail. The action's not great. There's a couple scenes in the second half I like, but messy ending. Mike Sargent and I, we review Operation Fortune. We also predict some of the winners in this year's Oscars at toofast2films.com. When you're done watching LCJ Live, go to toofast2films.com. We review Operation Fortune. We take about 3 or 4 minutes on that, and then we have a good 15-minute conversation about several of this year's big Oscar categories and our predictions in the screenplay categories, director, picture, and the 4 acting categories. We agree on some, we disagree on others. We break it all down. It's a very good conversation. toofast2films.com for that. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, also an Oscar nominee. 2.7 million. It's at 177.1. We've talked about how it passed Sing 2. It's passed some other Universal, DreamWorks animated movies. It's doing exceptionally well. And I still believe, even with the wins for Marcel the Shell at the Annie Awards last weekend, I still believe Puss in Boots is the upset choice over Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I do believe Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is going to win. It's very, very, very close to a lock. But this movie being in the theaters, Marcel was in the theaters as well, but it only made $6 million. Puss in Boots making $177 million. The impact it has had on families over the last 3 months says something. There are also a lot of people in the animation community who love this movie, but they also love Guillermo del Toro. And even though Guillermo del Toro won the Best Director Academy Award and Best Picture for The Shape of Water just a few years ago, I think they have to honor him and give it to him for the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. But if there is an upset, it is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I truly believe that. I'm not saying if you're in Vegas, go bet on Puss in Boots, bet a lot of money on it because you probably won't win. But Puss in Boots would be, I think, next in line over Marcel barely. And I like Marcel a lot too. I like all these movies a lot. These 3 movies: Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Puss in Boots, Marcel. But that's where I see their rankings currently. Number 9 for the weekend is Magic Mike's Last Dance, 1.2 million. It's at 25.3. I give Magic Mike a little credit for now earning 3 times its opening weekend. I have to give it a little credit for that. I think it made, what, 8.2 million in its opening weekend, something like that, and it's up to 25.3. Now, that's significantly less than what the other 2 Magic Mikes did. But, you know, not every movie has the opportunity ever to make 3 times its opening weekend. It's hard to do. Yeah, 8.3 times 3, that's 24.9. It has officially passed that. It has made 25, I think that math is correct, $25.3 million. So, you know, Warner Brothers can't be thrilled, but it was going to be a straight to HBO Max release. It made some money. It has now made 3 times its opening weekend. That's Magic Mike's Last Dance. And number 10 is 80 for Brady with 845,000. It's at 38.3. It will try to get to 40 million. Universal really put Violent Night over the top, pairing it probably with Cocaine Bear and Drive-Ins. Violent Night crossing 50 million finally this weekend. Knock at the Cabin out of the top 10. Man Called Otto out of the top 10, but still making money. It's at $63 million. Knock at the Cabin, like I said, 35. 80 for Brady, 30 million less than Book Club. Book Club 2 from Focus Features, not from Paramount. Book Club, the next chapter, opens Mother's Day weekend in May. So there you go. That's your top 10. The top 5 movies this weekend earned a combined $101 million. Obviously, that average is 20.2 million. The only movie that made more than 20.2 million was Creed 3 with 58.7. Yeah, you look at those other 4, that's a respectable 41.9 million for the other 4 besides Creed 3. So there you go. Yeah, by the way, I've got here with me, I don't know if you could see them, here's Marty the Zebra because of Chris Rock's live Netflix comedy show last night. And I've got a ghost here for Ghostface for Scream. Scream 6. Scream 6 comes out this weekend. The last Scream movie made 30.6 million, something like that, its opening weekend, which was just a little over a year ago. It was January of 2022. I went to a Friday showing. It was a snowy day. There were only about 5 of us in the theater, if that. But it made 30 million bucks. And Paramount quickly said, we're going to do another one. Total 82 million. How will this Scream do? I think well. I think it'll be number 1. Even if Creed 3 has a strong second weekend of, let's say, 30 million, I think Scream 6 will make more than that, but it could be a good battle. Just depends on how big the drop is for Creed 3. Also out this week is 65, which is the Adam Driver sci-fi action movie. There hasn't been a lot of buzz on this. The trailer's been out a while, and it's supposedly a short movie. It's like 87 minutes. So a lot of showtimes per theater, but is there a lot of interest to see it, especially going up against Scream? It was originally going to open on the 17th to go up against Shazam. Sony said, we'd rather go up against Scream. So that's 65. A movie I have seen that comes out already this week is Champions. Woody Harrelson sports comedy. I will say this. Full review will be out Tuesday. I will say this. Champions... It's a tough time for sports movies right now between that and Creed 3. I guess that's all I'll say for now. But I'll have full review, full thoughts later this week, including Tuesday, and more Friday on 99.5 The River. Hey, I got to tell you, I'm on 99.5 The River a lot this week because of the Celebrity Birthday Game. So if you listen, it's a great game with Kevin and Tracy. We're guessing whose birthdays are this week for celebrities and how old they are. And it's a lot of fun. You are going to want to listen every day to 99.5 The River. If you're local and listening live, 6:20 a.m., 7:50 a.m., I think they air every day. It airs twice a day on the River Morning Show. And then I'll be on later in the week to do some Oscar predictions as well as review Scream 6, Champions, and Luther, the Fallen Son, which I've also seen. It's the new Luther movie starring Idris Elba, which has been in select theaters for a couple weeks, but it's on Netflix this Friday, March 10th. What do I think of the new Luther movie? I will say this as well. If you are a fan of the series, you may have a certain opinion on it. If you've never seen the series, you may have a different opinion on it. Or you may have the same opinion. Either way. So that's a little tease as well for Luther, the Fallen Son. Don't forget this week as well, 2 new episodes of the LCJ Q&A podcast. I talk with the creators of the new Disney animated series KIF. That episode is out tomorrow at noon Eastern. And then the director and producer of the new Netflix animated movie, The Magician's Elephant. That's coming Wednesday. So 2 new LCJ Q&A podcast episodes and animationscoop.com Q&As for you this week. Of course, the Independent Spirit Awards were yesterday. I watched some of the show live on the live stream with about 8,000 other people. Not a lot of people watched it. Everything Everywhere All at Once, dominant. Glad to see After Sun win. Glad to see Emily the Criminal win. After Sun won Best First Feature. Emily the Criminal Best First Screenplay. Tar won Cinematography. At least it got something. Abbott Elementary, Quinta Brunson won. But Everything Everywhere dominated. And I think it dominated the SAG Awards. Did well at Critics' Choice. Did all right at the Golden Globes. Barely made noise at BAFTA. Did very well here at the Spirit Awards. I think it's going to do well at the Oscars as well. How well? Well, find out with my Oscar predictions coming all week long, including some already at toofast2films.com, and my thoughts on some of the technical categories are already in a blog piece at lights-camera-jackson.com. 14 technical categories and the shorts categories, my predictions, song, score, makeup and hair, production design, costume design, all of those, visual effects, sound, they're available now at lights-camera-jackson.com in the blog section. More of my picks coming this week. If you want to start filling out your ballot, take a look at those. A couple categories are locks. Some of them could go either way. So those are available now. When we are back here next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern for a new episode of LCJ Live, guess what? It's finally going to be Oscar Sunday. And don't forget, it's daylight savings, so we lose an hour. So make sure you set your clocks appropriately. But when we're back here, we'll see what's number 1 next weekend. I think it's going to be Scream 6 over Creed 3. We'll see how they do along with 65 and Champions. And I'll preview a lot of movies opening on the 17th, like Shazam, Magician's Elephant, Boston Strangler, which I've already seen, and a couple of others, Wildflower. So we'll talk about those. Moving on as well, Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda movie I'm probably going to be seeing this week. And we'll preview those. And of course, we'll talk about the Oscars. I will name all my predictions in all 23 categories next Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern, right here on LCJ Live. If you've been watching on YouTube Live, thank you. Don't forget to go to Twitter at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson, and the website is lights-camera-jackson.com. Have a good week. Happy Oscar week, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching LCJ Live. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Bye-bye.